If you've ever stood in front of the mirror gently fluffing your hair and thinking, why does it fall flat 5 minutes later? You're not alone. For so many women between 40 and 60, hair doesn't just change a little. It can feel like it's quietly slipping into a different personality. The ponytail looks smaller. The part looks wider. Styles that used to hold all day suddenly collapse by lunchtime. And here's the thing. Fine hair and thinning hair aren't the same, but they often show up together. Fine hair means each strand is small in diameter. Thinning hair means you have fewer strands than you used to. Either way, the goal isn't to fight your hair like it's an enemy. The goal is to learn the small, smart adjustments that make your hair look fuller, feel more confident, and behave the way you want it to. In this video on Timeless Wisdom Path, we'll walk through real, practical styling tips that create the illusion of thicker hair, without complicated routines or hours in the bathroom. We'll talk about the most flattering cuts, volume techniques that actually last, simple product choices that don't weigh hair down, and the little finishing tricks that make people say, "Did you do something different?" In the best way. The foundation. Cuts that make fine hair look thicker. Let's start with the truth most people skip. If the haircut isn't helping you, styling becomes 10 times harder. When hair is fine or thinning, the wrong shape can make it look even flatter, especially if it's too long, too layered in the wrong place, or too wispy at the ends. One of the most reliable choices is a textured bob. And it works because it changes the visual math. Shorter lengths naturally look denser because the hair isn't stretching and separating as much. When the ends are blunt but soft, meaning they look full without looking harsh, the perimeter looks thicker instantly. That thick-looking perimeter is everything for fine hair, because the eye reads it as more hair, even if nothing else changes. Now, a lot of women hear layers and assume that's automatically good for volume. But with fine hair, too many layers can backfire. Overlayering removes weight from the ends, and those ends are exactly what you need to look strong and full. The better approach is strategic layering. A little movement around the face, a little lift around the crown, but not a haircut that turns your ends into feathers. Fine hair can't support that kind of airy shape for long, so it collapses. If you want something slightly longer than a bob, a collarbone-length lob can be beautiful, especially if the front is a touch longer and the back has quiet structure. That shape gives a clean silhouette, and a clean silhouette photographs well. And yes, it can still be modern and youthful without trying too hard. For women who like a more relaxed, slightly edgy look, a soft shag can work, but it has to be customized. The magic of a good shag for fine hair is crown lift and movement, not thin ends. A stylist who understands fine hair will keep the ends fuller, while creating texture through the mid-lengths. This is the difference between messy in a good way and stringy by accident. Bangs can also be a secret weapon, especially if you notice thinning around the hairline or the part. But the best bangs for fine hair usually aren't super thick, heavy bangs that require tons of styling. Think sideswept bangs, curtain bangs that blend gently, or a soft fringe that breaks up a wide part. They add shape to the face and reduce the focus on the scalp area. And one more thing that matters more than people admit. The part. If you've worn the same part for years, the hair there gets trained to lie flat. A slightly shifted part, just a small change, can instantly lift the roots and make the top look fuller without any product at all. Word count, part 575 plus. Wash day volume that doesn't disappear by noon. Volume for fine hair isn't about using more products. It's about using fewer products the right way, in the right places, with the right amount of water removed at the right time. When volume fails, it's usually because hair is either too slippery at the roots, too coated through the mid-lengths, or dried in a way that presses it flat. Start in the shower. If your shampoo and conditioner are too heavy, your hair doesn't stand a chance. Look for words like volumizing, lightweight, or density, and be cautious with anything labeled ultra-hydrating, unless your hair is truly dry and coarse. Fine hair often gets weighed down long before it gets properly moisturized. A simple trick that changes everything is where you condition. Keep conditioner from the mid-lengths to the ends, and go lighter than you think you need. If your roots get conditioned, they usually lie down like they're taking a nap. After the shower, don't rub your hair aggressively with a towel. That can rough up the cuticle and make fine hair look frizzy and even thinner. Instead, Gently squeeze out the water and use a microfiber towel or a soft cotton t-shirt to blot. Then comes a step that most people rush: getting the roots to lift before they dry in the wrong direction. This is where a lightweight root mousse or root lift spray earns its place. The key is placement. Apply a small amount at the roots, especially crown and the top sides. Then comb it through lightly with your fingers so you don't create sticky patches. If you put volumizer all over your hair, it can feel coated and look piecey. If you focus it at the roots, your hair keeps movement while still looking fuller. Now let's talk blow drying, because the technique matters more than the brand of dryer. Fine hair needs airflow and direction. If you air dry while your hair is lying flat against your scalp, you're basically training it to be flat for the rest of the day. The easiest approach is to rough dry your hair to about 70%. 70% dry while lifting the roots with your fingers. Keep your head upright and move hair from side to side as you dry. You're not styling yet, you're setting the foundation. Then, flip your head forward for just 30 to 45 seconds and dry the roots on low to medium heat. This is a small moment that creates big lift, especially at the crown. After that, flip back up and use a round brush only where it matters: the top section and crown. You don't have to round brush your entire head. Fine hair gets tired of too much handling, and it can go limp. If you hate round brushes, you can still get lift using large Velcro rollers on the crown. Roll 2 or 3 sections away from the face, blast with warm air for a few seconds, then let them cool. Cooling is not optional. Hair locks its shape when it cools, so if you remove rollers while it's still warm, you lose the volume before you even leave the bathroom. Finally, use the lightest finishing spray you can find, and keep it at a distance. A heavy hairspray close to the roots can glue hair down and expose the scalp. Mist from far away like you're creating a soft cloud, then let it settle. Styling tricks that create the illusion of thickness. Once your hair is dry, the goal shifts. You're no longer just drying hair, you're sculpting the illusion of density. And density is often about shadows, spacing, and how the hair separates. When fine hair separates into stringy pieces, the scalp shows more and everything looks thinner. The tricks that work best help hair clump softly into fuller sections, like ribbons of hair instead of tiny strands. One of the simplest tools is a heat tool used gently. If you like curls, avoid tight curls that make fine hair look sparse at the ends. Instead, go for loose bends or soft waves with a 1.25-inch curling iron or a large barrel. Curl away from the face on the top layers, but don't curl the last inch of the ends. Leaving the ends a bit straighter makes them look thicker and more modern. Then, instead of brushing the curls out completely, use your fingers to separate and shape. A brush can turn waves into frizz and make hair look airy in the wrong way. If you prefer straight hair, you can still create volume by adding a slight bend at the root area and crown with your dryer and brush, then smoothing the mid-length slightly. Pin straight hair can look elegant, but it often exposes how fine the hair is, especially under bright light. A little movement gives dimension, and dimension reads as more hair. Now let's talk teasing, because it has a reputation. Backcombing can be helpful, but only if it's done softly and in the right area. You don't need to tease the whole head. Take a small section at the crown, tease lightly at the base, then smooth the top layer over it so it looks polished. The mistake people make is teasing too aggressively, creating a tangled mound that looks obvious and is painful to remove. Think gentle support, not dramatic height. Another underrated trick is powder volumizer used sparingly. Powder gives grip at the roots, and grip makes hair stand. But too much powder can make hair look dull or feel gritty. Use a tiny amount at the crown and massage it in with fingertips. Then stop. Let your hair move. Fine hair looks best when it still has softness. If your part is widening, camouflage is allowed. A root touch-up spray or powder matched to your hair color can reduce the look of scalp show-through instantly. This isn't about hiding who you are, it's about giving yourself options. Apply lightly along the part and hairline, then tap it in so it looks like a natural shadow, not makeup sitting on hair. Clips and half-up styling can also be surprisingly flattering. A small claw clip twist that lifts the crown creates height and fullness while leaving softness around the face. A half-up style with gentle volume at the crown can make hair look twice as dense on camera and in real life. It also avoids pulling too tightly, which matters if your hairline feels delicate. And here's a detail that changes everything. Keep your ends healthy. Fine hair looks thin fastest at the ends. Regular trims, small trims, make the perimeter look solid. If you wait too long, the ends become see-through and you lose that full line that makes hair look thick. Finally, consider your accessories. A wide, soft headband can add polish and disguise a flatter top. A scarf tied gently can create height. These aren't old-fashioned. They're style tools, and when done simply, they look timeless. Products that help, without weighing hair down. Products can either be your best friend or the reason your hair looks flat and separated. With fine hair, the winning strategy is lightweight support. You want lift at the roots, flexible hold through the style, and protection from heat, without coating the hair in heavy oils and creams. Let's start with heat protectant because if you use heat, you need it. Many women skip it because they think it will weigh hair down, but today's lightweight sprays can protect without making hair greasy. Look for a mist, not a thick cream. Apply it mainly from mid-length to ends, and use only a little near the roots if you truly need it. Fine hair doesn't need much to get coated. For volume, mousse often works better than thick styling creams. A good mousse gives memory, meaning the hair holds shape longer. Focus it at the roots and crown, and don't overload. If your hair gets crunchy, it's not because mousse is bad. It's because it was either too much or not fully dried before touching and styling. Dry shampoo deserves its own moment, because it's not just for dirty hair. For fine hair, dry shampoo is a texture tool. Sprayed lightly at the roots, it adds grip and lift. The trick is to use it before your hair gets oily, not after it's already flat. Spray at the roots, let it sit for about 30 seconds, then massage gently and brush lightly. If you spray and immediately rub, you often move product around without letting it absorb oils. Texturizing spray can also help, but choose one that's flexible. Some are too sticky and can make fine hair clump in an unflattering way. A light texturizer gives separation in a good way, creating those fuller-looking ribbons of hair. Use it mostly underneath the top layer, not on the surface. When product sits on the top layer, it can look dull and heavy on camera. Now about serums and oils. They can be helpful, but they are usually the #1 reason fine hair looks stringy. If you love a serum, use half of what you think you need. Warm it between your palms, then lightly touch only the very ends. Avoid the mid-lengths unless your hair is truly dry. And avoid roots entirely. Roots need air and lift, not shine products. If frizz is your concern, consider a lightweight smoothing spray rather than a heavy cream. Fine hair can look thinner when frizz breaks up the silhouette, but heavy smoothing products can make hair look flatter. A light spray that reduces static can keep hair polished while still airy. For hair that's thinning at the crown or part, some women like thickening fibers. These can work well for special occasions, photos, and bright lighting situations. If you use them, match your color carefully, apply with a light hand, and set with a gentle mist so it doesn't transfer. The goal is subtle confidence, not a dramatic layer of product. And don't ignore scalp health. As we get older, scalp can get drier or more sensitive, and that can influence hair quality. A gentle scalp serum used at night a few times a week can help create a healthier environment for hair. This isn't an overnight miracle, but it can support long-term hair comfort and appearance. The simplest product rule to remember is this. Fine hair usually looks fuller with less product than you expect. Choose 2 or 3 items that truly work for you. Learn the right amount, and your hair will start behaving like it's on your side again. Final thoughts. If there's one message I hope you take with you, it's this. Fine or thinning hair doesn't mean you're stuck with flat hair. It just means your hair responds best to smarter structure, lighter products, and techniques that build lift where it counts, especially at the roots and crown. Try one change at a time. Maybe it's shifting your part. Maybe it's a textured bob that brings back that fuller outline. Maybe it's learning a quicker blow-dry routine that sets volume early, so it lasts longer. Small changes can feel surprisingly emotional. In a good way, because they give you that quiet sense of I recognize myself again. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path.